Hello, how's it going? Long time no see. Um, it is I, Def Koss, aka Jordan. I am a One Piece fanboy extraordinaire, but today we're not going to be talking about One Piece. I apologize for not posting more videos recently. I've been away for a few months, and in that time I haven't read anything. I haven't read any new manga. So that's why I haven't been making any videos because usually when I read a manga, I make a video. And I don't know, I guess I just haven't really been in the mood. I don't know. I still have some One Piece to read. I still have some Hunter x Hunter to read, or a lot of both. Um, but I don't know. I just haven't been able to bring myself to read and make videos recently. Um, I have been spending a lot of my off time drawing. So I've been drawing a new comic. I've gone back to traditional. If you've been watching my videos, which that might be a long shot, but in case you have been, I switched to digital a few months ago, like last year, and I like digital, but I think I might actually like traditional a little bit more. Here, let me turn this light on. There we go. I think that's a little better. Um, so I switched back to traditional, drawing traditionally. So feel free to check out my Instagram or my Facebook or my Twitter to check out the pages. I post them on all those sites. So if you're at all intrigued by my personal work, feel free to check those out. Um, but we're actually here today for a review of the newest volume of Dandadan. So I did the first volume. I did a video on the first volume of Dandadan, and I don't get a ton of views on my videos, but I think that one got a few more views than I usually get. So I like Dandadan, so I wanted to keep making videos about it. Um, so yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna go through this volume two. Um, yeah, we're just gonna talk about it, see how that goes. Um, I'm a big fan of my phone's going off. I'm a big fan of Yukinobu Tatsu's art. I think he's a really dope artist. Um, like the main characters, Momo, Ayase, and Okanum, they're both really cool. Um, all right, so if I recall correctly, last volume ended. They were going home from fighting the Turbo Granny. They were like on the train and they were headed home. I think that's how the last volume ended. And then this volume picks up, and I guess they didn't defeat the Turbo Granny. I remember Okaru like absorbed the Turbo Granny or something like that. I have the first volume somewhere around here. I don't know where I put it. Um, it's around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Forgive the mess in my apartment. I have trouble taking care of myself. But here's okay. Oh yeah, okay. So we see the crab at the end of this. Okay, yeah. So we see the crab at the end of volume one, and saying "Give back Turbo Granny," and it's a bound spirit. The crab is a bound spirit, is what they're called. So I guess it's bound to Turbo Granny. Um, okay, and then they get on the train and they head home, and then that's the end of the volume. Okay, yeah. Just had to refresh my memory a little bit. It's been a few months. Um, but yeah, so now they're running from the big ass crab. I love this double page spread here. I love their positions. Like Miss ISA looks so funny with her I guess her right arm that's like outstretched like that. I love that he decided to put her arm in that position while she's running. Um, and then Okaru is running next to her, and they're running away from the crab. So yeah, so this is a crazy ass crab with like weird faces on it. Like it has like mouths and faces and stuff like all over its body, and it's just like trying to kill them basically. And then so Okaru still has the Turbo Granny inside of him, so he's able to transform like he did in the previous volume. He can transform into this like alter ego of his. Um, and he gets like stronger and more like confident, um, more badass. Uh, so yeah, so he picks up gives ISA a piggyback ride, and they're like running away from the crab. This was a little weird. He turns he like they're falling like they fall off a cliff, and they're falling down to the town below, and he like outstretches his legs and like twirls them around like a helicopter to like lessen the impact of the fall, like to like lessen his momentum. And then he hits the side of the building and crashes to the ground. But that was crazy. I was like, what the fuck? How is he able to do that? I mean, I guess since he has the Turbo Granny's powers, he can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, so the crab is after them. And apparently, like, they come across, like, civilians, like, in the street. And, and they can't see the crab. So they can't see, like, the spirit, the bound spirit crab. They can only see ISA and, Okaru. Um, Although I wonder why they can't see the crab, but they can see Okaru, and Okaru's in his transformed form. Um, so I don't know. I guess he doesn't count as a spirit. I guess he's not a spirit. Um, oh yeah, and then they go to like this, like a hot spring, I guess. And the crab crashes through the wall, and they're like in the hot spring, like in the water. But then, I guess since the water is so hot in the hot spring, it like cooks the crab. Like it starts to cook the giant crab. Um, so it like stiffens its muscles or whatever, so it can't move. And then they take advantage of that and run away. Um, but then they come across like a bunch of like spirits, a bunch of people, like spirits of people from a nearby cemetery that are all like running after them. And I guess they're affiliated with the Turbo Granny as well. Oh yeah, he says the Turbo Granny says they tapped the spirits sleeping there for assistance. So they tapped the the spirits of the nearby cemetery to run after Momo, Ayase, and Okaru as well. Um, then Okaru transforms again. He looks so cool in that form, and he grabs Ayase and they run away at like top speed. And then apparently, while because he ran at top speed until he couldn't anymore, like until he reached his limit. And apparently, while he was doing that, the Turbo Granny left his body. Because ISC says, the Turbo Granny, I let go of her. So I guess she was using her powers to bind her to Okeru, if I'm not mistaken. Because she says she let go of her, so I guess she was the one that was keeping her around. Um, then the Turbo Gang like kicks Okaru, and then kicks Ayase, and then we got, this is a cool page. This page here. Uh, we got the Turbo Granny, all the spirits from the cemetery, and the giant crab, and they're all after Okaru and Ayase. Um, So yeah, so in this volume, I forget if she did this in the first volume too. Actually, let me look at the first volume again. I have a bad memory. I don't think she did. But Ayase has this power that she uses in this volume where she can like make like telekinetic hands, like telekinetic giant hands that she can use to grab onto stuff and to like, I guess, grab stuff. Um, I don't remember her doing that in the first volume. Maybe I'm just forgetting. I'm looking through it right now and I'm not seeing anything like that really. Um, it looks like the first volume was a little thicker. Am I wrong? Yeah, I guess a little bit. Um, so yeah, so she does this thing where she can make it like a telekinetic hand, and she grabs onto a train that's passing by, and it like lifts them up, and then they go on like the roof of the train, and they figure, oh, uh, the Turbo Granny is known as the 100 kilometers per hour Granny, uh, and this train is going 120 kilometers per hour, so she'll never catch us. Um, but then she says, "Oh, trains slow down. They don't go at max speed like all the time. Like they slow down when they turn and stuff like that." So she's able to grab onto the train. But then they come across like an over, like I forget, I don't know how to call this, like I don't think that's not an overpass. I don't think, I don't know how to call this, but there's a bunch of the seals all over it. It's like it goes across the train. It's like a structure that goes across the train tracks, and you can't really see. I guess it's kind of far away, but there's a bunch of seals on on the structure there, and and then we see Aya's grandma. So I guess she's the one who put those there. Um, and and as soon as the train passes that spot, here comes my cat. Say hello to Agua. I've been a little worried about Agua recently because her eyes have been watering. And she's been sneezing a lot, which is really strange. She wasn't doing that before. Um, so I'm a little worried. I ordered some eye wipes, some like eye wipes for cats that you can use to like clean out her eyes a little bit. I'm a little worried about her. She seems to be acting fine though. It's just that she's sneezing and her eyes are watery. I don't know what that is about. I wanted to call the vet today, but the vet is closed on Wednesdays for some reason. That bummed me out. Anyway, yeah, so they pass the structure and then detonate the seals. And then the Turbo Granny gets like incinerated. Um, that's a cool double page spread too. Oh, and I just noticed that the grandma is right there. She's right there. I didn't notice that the first time. Yeah, so they detonate the weird crab monster and the Turbo Granny, and then all these like these spirits of young girls, just like dissipate from the crab. Um, and then that's pretty much how they defeat the Turbo Granny, or more or less, more or less. The Turbo Granny actually shows up later in this volume, but she's no longer like actively trying to kill them, and they freed all those spirits of the young girls. Um, okay, so then we cut back to Ayase's house, uh, and they're like eating, and they're eating crab. Because Ayase makes a point to point out that she eats crab a lot, I guess, um, or that she likes crab. Um, oh yeah, and in the first volume, I think I forgot to talk about this when I made my video, but I Okanu like lost his like package, his like junk. He like it got like spiritually taken from him, from the Turbo Granny. I forget the details, but in this volume, he talks about how he got his like dick back, basically. Um, but then later on, there's something else that he loses. Um, it's so weird. Um, oh yeah, so then uh, Ayase and Okanu are like saying their goodbyes to each other, and then they're like goodbye, and then they keep thinking like goodbye, goodbye, and then Ayase says see you tomorrow. Um, yeah, so there's actually a little element of romance in Dandadan as well. A little bit between Okanu and Ayase. They're not like a full fledged couple, but they kind of are in a way. Um, oh yeah, and then he goes to school the next day, and Ayase is waiting for him. I love the art. I love his character design too. I think Okanu looks really cool with his like scraggly hair, and Ayase I like her face. So then I think the next couple chapters actually take place while they're at school. Um, and Okanu is all happy because he has a friend in Ayase. Um, oh yeah, this chapter is actually kind of cool. So Ayase and Okanu are like thinking about each other because they just went on this big adventure, right? Like, um, they just defeated the Turbo Granny, and like they just spent a crazy night together. So they're like on each other's minds, and they're at school and they're just thinking about each other, and they're just like, oh, like they're both thinking that they want to talk to the other person. They're like, oh, I really want to, like, Okanu's like, I really want to talk to Ayase. Ayase's like, I really want to talk to Okanu. And then they try to find each other. They walk through the school, like, trying to find each other, but they keep missing each other. I guess they're in different classes. Um, so they keep missing each other. Uh, like they're like looking for each other, but they're like facing the wrong way, and they're surrounded by other people and stuff like that. Um, and then they're thinking about each other. They're just like, oh shit, like I want to talk to the other person and whatnot. And what's up, Agua? And then they're like so caught up in their own thoughts. They get up. They're both sitting like a few feet from each other on benches, but they don't see each other. And they're both caught up in their own thoughts. Then they get up, uh, and they're like walking towards each other, but they're not paying attention. And then they bump into each other and straight up kiss. Be careful, Agua. Um, so they straight up kiss, and then they're all like embarrassed and stuff. They're like, "What the fuck? Like, where did you come from?" Uh, so yeah, I mean, in the first volume, like I definitely felt that there was chemistry between them, but not to the extent that I didn't know if they were gonna be like a couple. Like I didn't know if they were gonna be like boyfriend and girlfriend. I thought they might just have like a platonic relationship. Um, but it looks like they actually like each other. Um, and then I asked his friends saw them and they're like, "What? You two were kissing?" Oh yeah, and then they kind of get into a fight. They're like, "Oh yeah, like." Uh, I don't know. They kind of start like I guess they don't really know how to react, so they kind of start yelling at each other. Ayase and Okada, and then Okada goes to go to the bathroom. He like goes to take a piss, and while he's trying to take a piss, he's like, "Hold on a second, my balls are gone." So it's something to do with the turbo granny. She took his balls. Like she took everything, and then he got like the shaft back, and now he's missing the testicles. Um, and then so then we cut back to Ayase, who's back in class, and all her friends are like, "Oh, you have a boyfriend? Like you were kissing a guy, or whatever." And and she's like, "No, no, he's not my boyfriend, whatever." And then Okamu shows up and he's like, "Oh, I see. Like, I need to talk to you like right now, like for real. Like, I'm not joking." And she's like, "Oh, go away. Did you say you didn't want to talk to me?" He's like, "No, I just I didn't mean it. Like, I need to talk to you." And and then I guess she doesn't want to talk to him, so he walks away. And then he's walking through the crowded hallway at the school, and then Kitty loves to walk on my keyboard. Um, and then is this still going well? Okay. Um, and then he bumps into this girl, this new character that they introduced this volume. Her, I think her name is Ira. Um, she has a cool design too. She's kind of a bitch, but she has a cool design. Um, and so he bumps into her, and they're talking like he's talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, you know, you're really nice because you bumped into me and then you apologized and stuff like that." Uh, and then she puts her hand on his arm, and Ayase is walking by and she sees them, and she's like, "Oh, I thought he didn't have any friends. What's up with that?" But then when the girl walks away, she starts talking shit. Like she starts talking like, "Oh yeah, like that nerd or whatever." Like I just want to make him think that I like him because it'll give him hope and stuff like that. But he's really a piece of garbage or whatever. And then Ayase hears him and she uses her powers. Apparently, there's like a water basin on top of. I guess it's on top of the lockers. Um, and she uses her like I guess she has like telekinetic powers. She uses them to make it fall on the chick's head because she was talking shit. And then she catches up with Okaru, and she's like, "Yeah, Okaru, let's walk home together." Um, and then they apologize to each other, and then Okaru explains to them that his balls are gone. Uh, and then so they're back at Ayase's house. Um, and they realize that the Turbo Granny is still, I guess, inside Okano. Uh, like they didn't get rid of her completely. Um, and then oh yeah, when they're doing like this weird ritual, and Ayashi's grandma tells Ayashi to get like a doll of some kind, and so she gets one of those cats. I forget what those are called. I think they're supposed to like give you good fortune or something like that. Um, but it's one of those cat statues. I forget what they're called. I don't know if they have a name actually. They probably do. Um, but what happens is the grandma does she hits Okano with a fan, and then Ayase like uses her powers. Ayase's powers are a little confusing to me. It's like I'm not 100% sure what her power is. Like it's like she has telekinesis, but she also has like spiritual powers. Like she's a medium of some kind. She can interact with spirits. She can detonate the seals. Um, she can like take control of spirits and stuff like that. It's not super precise like what she can do. It's like she can do all kinds of stuff. Um, but then the spirit of the Turbo Granny gets transferred from Okanu to the cat statue. And so now we have this weird character who shows up a lot after this. And it's the Turbo Granny in the cat statue. And it kind of reminds me of like Khan from Bleach. I'm not the biggest fan of Bleach. I haven't like read everything or watched everything, but I used to read it. Like when it first came out, I read like the first few volumes, and I remember Khan, the weird like stuffed animal with the spirit inside of it. So it's kind of similar. Um, he's kind of a similar character. Like a lot of anime and manga have like a weird mascot character like that, where it's like a weird like chibi animal of some kind. Um, so we're doing that in this too. Um, but then so they ask the Turbo Granny like about Okanu's balls, um, like how's he gonna get them back? Um, oh yeah, and then Okanu actually transforms because the Turbo Granny says, "Oh Okanu," like because I guess the Turbo Granny is still kind of evil, so she's like, "Oh Okanu, like." Oh, kill the grandma and Ayase. You have to do what I say. And Okanu starts kind of like bugging out a little bit. He's like, "Gah," and then he turns into the cool badass version of himself. It looks a little different though. Uh, and apparently it turns out that the Turbo Granny's consciousness is what left Okanu, but I guess her energy or her like I guess I don't know her spirit, her energy, her spiritual energy, just stayed inside of him, so he still has access to his powers. Um, and he was saying, "Yeah, I got really angry, and then I changed." So I guess it's like depending on his emotions, he he can transform. And then the Turbo Granny says that she lost Okanu's balls. She doesn't know where they are, but she transformed them into like these little metal balls, these little shiny gold balls, and they're like imbued with spiritual energy. So they're like, oh, she's like, oh yeah, you have to go and find them. They're somewhere out there. I don't know where I put them, but you have to go and look for them. And um, you know maybe somebody else is going to come across them because they're imbued with spiritual energy. So maybe some kind of spirit will come across them and take them. Uh, I don't understand how she takes the balls or like his dick and stuff. Like I don't understand how that happens. It just happens like off screen, and like they just explain that it's just like a side effect of what of like the whole situation. Um, but then we get the scene where they go back to school. I guess it's the next day, and this guy comes up to Okano and he's like, "Hey, I heard that you and Ayase are together. What's up with that?" And then he's like, "Oh no, we're not together." And then the guy is like, "Oh, okay. Well, then why don't you introduce me to her? She's super cute. Don't you think she's super cute?" And then I see, and then I mean, Okano starts thinking like, "Oh yeah, she is kind of cute. Yeah, that's true." Which is kind of strange because I mean he because right now he's realizing, oh, Ayase is cute. But I guess I would have thought that he realized that already because there was the whole chapter where they were looking for each other and they're thinking about each other like all chapter long, and then and then they kiss. They bump into each other and they kiss. Um, but Okadu here, he says, "Oh yeah, I always just thought of her as like a friend. Like I was happy that she was my friend, but it's true that she is. She looks good. Like she's cute." Um, and yeah, I would have thought that he would have thought that earlier, but I guess not. But I guess I think the title of the chapter is "Seems She Finally Realized She's Cute." So uh, yeah, I guess that's just how it goes. But then the guy starts talking shit. He's like, "Oh yeah, I heard she puts out really easily and stuff like that." And and then Okado transforms and he tells him, "Yo, she's not that kind of girl. Like, who told you that?" He gets pissed off, and then the guy's like, "Okay, okay, all right." And he doesn't bat an eye at the fact that his appearance completely changed. Um, oh yeah, and then turns out that the Turbo Granny cat stashed away in Okado's backpack. Um, so she's like at school with them. Uh, and now Okado is acting all kind of. He's acting. I mean, I guess he was kind of awkward to begin with, but he's acting even more awkward now when he's with ISA. Um, and then we cut to the girl that we met earlier, Ira, right here, and she's walking down the hallway at school, and she starts thinking like, oh yeah, like they all are looking at me because I'm so beautiful, and like I like to wave at them and let them think that I like them because it gives them hope and stuff like that. But then she says, oh, she's thinking about ISA because ISA used her powers to like have the water basin fall on her head, and apparently when she was walking away, uh, the girl Ira was looking at her, and she's like, "Oh, she has devil wings because of her hands, her like telekinetic hands that she uses." Um, and and then she's like, "Oh yeah, like that girl's the devil. I need to like beat her and stuff like that. I need to get rid of her." And then she looks in her pocket and she found one of the golden balls. So she found one of Okaru's balls. Um, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I have to save the world from that wicked fiend. I understand. I'll do it because I am a beautiful girl." Like she keeps just calling herself beautiful. And then we cut to a flashback of when she got the ball, and the ball just falls from the sky and lands on her head. And I guess it was when Turbo Granny was on the train. I think that's what this is. Like she was walking by when the train was like set ablaze by Turbo Granny, being ignited by the seals, and then the ball just fell from the sky and landed on Ira's head. And then she meets up with her friends who give her a cross and like a Bible or some kind of holy book, and and they're like, oh yeah, like we're gonna use that to defeat Isa because she thinks Isa is the devil. Um, and then we cut to Okelu and Ayase, who are hanging out together on the roof having lunch. And Okelu is still acting all weird around her. He's like covering his eyes to like not look at her. Um, oh yeah, and then the Turbo Granny explains that since if a human found the ball, they'll get spiritual powers and they'll be able to see spirits. So that's why the girl Ira is able to see spirits now, and she has like powers now, pretty much. Um, and then Ira goes up to ISA like after school, and she's like, "Oh, ISA, we need to talk like right now. Like we need to talk in private." And she lures her to like I don't know, like a warehouse or something. And and then her two friends like grab ISA by the arms from behind, and they trip her, and they like bind her hands together, and then Ira gets on top of her, and she's all like, "Die, demon!" Like she busts out the cross and the book, and then Isa uses her hands, her like telekinetic spiritual hands or whatever, to like pick up her two friends. Oh yeah, and then she takes out the ball because she's like, "Oh, the cross isn't working, so maybe the ball will work." Because she's like, "Oh, the ball." She was saying before like she realizes that the ball has like spiritual powers, and she says, "Oh, the reason I got this golden ball is because I was chosen to take out Ayase because she's the devil." That's what she thinks. Um, and then Ayase's like, "Oh, that's not what you think it is. That's Okanu's testicle." Oh yeah, and then oh yeah, Ira also mentioned earlier that she was looking out the window and she saw like a woman in a red dress, and then uh, oh yeah, I forget. And I say was aware of the woman in the red dress too. She called her the eerie woman. I forget how she came. How she maybe Turbo Granny told her about her. But anyway, I actually seem to know about the woman in the red dress, and or the eerie woman. And then Okelu shows up and he's like, "Oh, Ira is not the eerie woman. Um, she's the eerie woman's target." And then we get to see a new spirit that goes after Ira, and they call her the eerie woman. Um, uh, and she's like, and then we get this weird flashback where we see Ira as a child with a woman that looks like the eerie woman, and the eerie woman is like, "Oh, I'm your mother." Like talking to Ira, she's like, "I'm your mother." Um, and then Okanu tries to save her. He turns into his like spiritual form or whatever, and starts trying to like attack the eerie woman. And the eerie woman tries to eat him, or she does eat him. Uh, and then the eerie woman is like holding Ira, and she's like, "Oh, call me mommy. It made me so happy when you called me mommy." And Yeah, so she's kind of like part of the team now. Ira is, um, and then the Turbo Granny Cat explains that it's called an acrobatic silky. Um, and then it eats Ira because Ira called it a monster. Then it uses its hair to like wrap around IS's neck and like swings her around and stuff. And then the monster eats ISA. But then the Turbo Granny Cat explains that she ate some of her own hair by mistake, and that the cross that that Ira had was actually a lighter. So Okanu ignites the hair that's inside the Eerie Woman, the acrobatic Silky, and she like she throws them all up while throwing up like flames. Um, you see that here, and then we get a cool final page of ISA Ira and Okanu and the Turbo Granny. And see, rescue successful. Now comes the counterattack. So now they're gonna, I don't know, I guess they're gonna take out the Eerie Lady. So yeah, so that's Dandadan, Volume 2. Um, that was fun. That was fun. I liked the art a lot. The story's kind of strange though. I gotta say. I mean, I think it's strange on purpose. Like it's not like it's like not supposed to be strange. Like it definitely is supposed to be strange. Uh, but but yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. But I guess that's kind of what I like about it too. But yeah, so that was fun. Oh wow, I've been going for 42 minutes. That's kind of long. Uh, anyway, if you indeed watched me talk about Dan to Dan for over 40 minutes, thank you very much. I'm gonna try and get back on track with One Piece and Hunter x Hunter. Um, I don't know when I'm gonna be doing a reread review of One Piece, so hopefully sometime soon. Just that I really only have 2 days off a week. I'm always either super tired or I have something to do because those are my only days off. So I don't always have the time to sit down and read a manga and make a video. Uh, but I definitely want to keep doing it. So I'll just do it as I do it. I ordered the new volume of Dandadan, I read it and I made a video. So I'll just keep going like that. I'll just when I feel like it, I'll do it. And it's not like that many people are watching anyway. So it's not like I don't think I'm disappointing anybody. So it doesn't really matter, I guess. But yeah. So there was something that I wanted to do. I was thinking about since I haven't done a reaction to a new One Piece chapter in so long, and I was thinking about rereading the last the last few chapters, like whatever chapter it was that I left off at on the channel, to just pick up from there and just reread everything and do a video of me rereading it, so I could talk about it as I reread it. Or I could just reread it and then talk about it afterwards. I might do that. Uh, but yeah, but I'm super excited about One Piece. It's just that I've just been reading it for myself as opposed to making videos recently. But if I start getting comments and views and stuff like that, I think I'll get back into it. But anyway, Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to this point, and yeah, I mean, I'll make another video at some point, maybe on Sunday, maybe not, maybe next Wednesday, sometime within the not too distant future. I will make a new video, and I will see you then. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the very near future. Have a good one.